Welcome or welcome back to the 8th concession. My name is Natalie. The garden season is in full gear and I've been really busy preparing all the beds, getting everything planted. As some of you know, I've been behind on so much of it. The weather hasn't really cooperated. It's kind of hit and miss this year. Some of the crops are doing really well. Other crops are doing so-so, especially the ones that really like the heat. We're just not getting the heat here. Zone 5B, Southern Ontario, we're having a rather cool summer. At least overnight it's cool, and some of the plants are not happy about that. But I wanted to talk today about people who maybe are just starting to garden or who want to get started gardening and enjoy this time of year when you get fresh produce from the garden, straight from the ground to your table. But what if you find it a bit intimidating? What if you've never done it before? Where should you begin? Well, today I want to give you my top 5 vegetables that are great for new gardeners. They are easy to grow. They kind of guarantee a decent crop without too much work, without too much struggle, not too much pest damage. So let's get started. What are the top 5? The first one is right behind me, and that is onions. Now, if you're growing onions for the first time, I highly recommend you starting with onion sets. They come in a little net bag. They're like a mini onion. And if you plant them and give them enough water and decent soil, they are going to grow for you. If you start onions from seed, it can be a little tricky. My onions here, these here I grew from seed, but those there are from sets. Now, my seed ones are almost catching up, but when you saw me plant them, back at the beginning of spring, they were pretty spindly. It could have gone either way. Luckily, they took off and they're doing great. But if you want to be guaranteed some onions, I recommend starting with the onion sets. Onions are very easy. You put them in spring, even before your last frost date. Give them some decent soil. Give them lots of water. Keep them growing until they start to fall over and brown. And presto, you have onions. Number 2 for me are peas. Peas are another super simple crop to grow. You plant them early spring before the last frost date, something like the onions. Pea seeds look just like the dried peas you might get in the store. Pop them in the ground about 1 inch deep, give them lots of water, and you are going to get pea plants. The nice thing about peas is they produce a lot, so whether you get the sugar snap peas like I use in stir fries, sort of like the snow peas, or regular peas that you have to shell from the pod, they will produce a lot. They're easy to grow. You can even eat the pea pods, the young pea pods, just straight off the vine. The third easiest vegetable to grow are beans. Beans, I'm sure you've seen bean seeds. You've probably cooked with beans. These happen to be the Scarlet Runner pole beans. I have 3 different kinds of beans in my garden this year. I have the pole beans at the front of the trellis, but I also have 2 different varieties behind me here. I have kidney beans and white beans, where I'm hoping to make some homemade baked beans. Now, beans are a large seed, easy to see. Stick them in the ground, give them some water, and up they come. Very little fuss. They don't have a lot of needs. The only thing you might have to look out for are animals like rabbits or something wanting to eat them, but luckily in the raised beds that helps a little bit. Rabbits and other creatures, that's my chickens laying eggs. Rabbits and other creatures don't really like to expose themselves by coming up into the raised beds. They're more at risk for predators. So the beans in the raised beds do really well, and they produce a lot. If you get some bush beans for like green beans, you will be overrun with beans. They're fun and easy to grow. So they're my number 3 pick. Number 4 is lettuce. Whether you use seeds, which are quite small, or starts, which are the little lettuce plants, they will do so well with very little care. just lots of water. They do, sorry, mosquitoes. They do best in cooler temperatures. So here in zone 5B, I will grow them in the spring and in the fall. If you have very mild winters with a little bit of protection, you can grow them year round. Lettuce grows to full size very quickly. Mosquitoes. They grow to full size very quickly, so it is good to succession plant. That means every couple of weeks or so, start some more from seed. You can see I have some new ones starting back here, and today I'm actually going to sow these seeds right here. Sprinkle them around. Sprinkle a little bit of dirt on them. They don't want to be pressed in too far because they're small. And water them in, and that's it. In a couple of weeks, you're having fresh garden salad, and you can't beat that. And number 5 is in the bed behind me here. This is my new tomato bed. Now, tomato plants are found everywhere as starts, and that's the easiest way for new gardeners, is to buy the started plants. There are so many varieties to pick from. I have cherry tomatoes here. I have cocktail tomatoes here. I have sauce tomatoes and slicing tomatoes. Put them in the ground with some healthy compost. Give them some support. Water them well, and you are going to have fresh garden tomatoes. And trust me, they don't taste anything like the store tomatoes, which tend to be a little bit like cardboard because they're grown in greenhouses. They're shipped long distances. When you pick one out of your garden, still warm in the morning, you can't beat the taste of them. And they are fairly easy to grow. They don't have much problem with disease. I have problems with some blight here because we're kind of damp in this area. But even with that, I still get a harvest of tomatoes. So even though the plants don't look great by August, I'm still getting those garden ripe tomatoes. So if you're new to gardening, those are my picks for the 5 easiest vegetables to get you going, to give you some success so you have some more confidence to try some of the other varieties. You can make a delicious salad, you can eat the beans for supper, and keep the onions all year round. I'll link the video below which shows you how I prepare onions for storage if you do decide to grow some onions and want to keep them for a while. But other than that, take the plunge, get out there, buy some seeds, buy some starts, buy some onion sets, and get that garden planted. Bye for now.